Happy Sunday, you all. Welcome to my channel. My name is Corinne, and this is CoryCreates, where I talk primarily about cross-stitch and share my projects with you, with a little bit of sewing projects thrown in from here to there. I am a garment maker as well as a quilter, so I do tend to throw those in from time to time towards the ends of my videos if I have anything to show. Welcome to all my new friends, and to my returning friends, I thank you for coming back as always. This is Flosstube number 37. If this is your first time here, I would love it if you would take a moment to hit that subscribe button, especially if you see something that inspires you and encourages you to come back again. Thank you to my new subscribers. I've had quite a few since my last video. And to my returning friends, I can't thank you enough for always coming in to check me out. I have quite a bit for you today. If you are new here, I live in St. Louis, Missouri. Spring has finally sprung here, so I'm hoping to start definitely letting my stitching reflect that. But if you know anything about the Midwest, it's not a steady temp at all. I think today it's going to be 65. Tomorrow it's going to be 90. Go figure. That's how we roll here in the Midwest. So what do I have to share with you today? I have a finish. I have an FFO, fully finished object. I have some whips. I have some investments. I do have a couple of sewing projects, finishes, that I'm going to show near the end. Some very basic plans. Y'all know how I am about plans. And just a very quick update at the end of what I have been busy doing, because it has been about a month since I last saw you for Flosstube number 36. So I will update you towards the end, so I'm just going to jump right in. I do want to say thank you to everybody that follows me on my other social media. You can find me as CoryCreates08 on Instagram, and I am also on Threads with that handle. And then you can also find my Etsy shop where I sell my project bags. That is Layla P Creations, all one word, on Etsy. Thank you so much to those of you who have purchased bags over the last month. It's been quite a few, so I'm excited. I'm in the process of restocking now, so you will see some new projects and bags coming through there very soon. So let's start off with my finish. This is a Christmas finish that I have been working on. Let me see if I have my notes on that. I believe I started this in August of 2024, and this is the Nutcracker tree by the Tiny Modernist. It is done on a 32 count splash mint Lugana by Zweigert, and I'm so excited to share my finish. Here it is. I told you all in 2025 I want to always have a Christmas stitch on the go. So this has been my Christmas stitch for the first quarter of this year. And I'll try to keep it all in there. Again, the only change I made was to the red in the ornaments. That number is 666 DMC, like a Christmassy type red. Well, I changed it to a toile. So that's a more glittery thread by DMC. So that's the only change, and I just did it in the ornaments. I think maybe on the Nutcracker I put a little bit in, and I know up here. But the last time I was with you, I had to finish this swag, and then I had a little bit of back stitching to do, and I got that done. So this was an exciting finish for me. I will definitely be doing couple of her other trees, Wizard of Oz tree and the Snow White tree. I will definitely be doing both of those. So this was fun to work on. I also added a little bit of blending filament, Krynic, and some of the gold accents. But otherwise it was stitched as provided. I'm very pleased with the outcome. I can't wait to get it framed. That's one of my projects. I am a teacher, so that's one of my summer projects that I plan to work on, is getting this framed. I'll give you one more look because I'm super excited about it. But again, Nutcracker Tree by the Tiny Modernist. And she's definitely one of my top designers that I love to do her projects. So this next one, another exciting one because it is a fully finished object. And fully finishing things, you all, is a little daunting for me. Not because of the skill that you need to do it, just because of the time and sometimes the space for me. My craft stuff, you all, is scattered everywhere in this apartment. So when I finally gather everything to fully finish something, I just go ahead and sit down and get it done. So this was Strawberry Faire by October House that I finished early, about this time last year. And it is done on an orange Pico 32 count Lugana from Under the Sea Fabrics. And this was kind of an unconventional choice for me for the background fabric. But I'm very pleased with it. I used the called for over dyes and I finished it as a pillow. So I pulled some strawberry fabric out of my stash and then I attached chenille. I believe it is from Color and Cotton. No, I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot the name of it. I'll put it down below. I know the color, I can't remember the color, that's terrible, but I'll put it down below. I'll put it on the screen actually. But it is chenille and I got it from Color and Cotton, but I can't remember if it's one of hers or if it was one from Lady Dot. I want to say it was from Lady Dot, but again, I'll put the color down below. And then I finished it. It is stuffed with fiberfill. I'm very pleased with how I did the stuffing. I think that was one of the things that always keeps me from going for it. I did put a little bit of walnut shells in here just to give it a little bit of weight, but I did not by any means fill it all the way. I probably should have put my walnut shells closer to the middle. I think I just decided to add some at the bottom. I always close my pillows on the edge. You will probably never see me open the back and do that. But I probably should have put the walnut shells in sooner because I had a hard time getting them in there with that fiber fill. But this was just some polyfill that I had. I did consult with Vanna Pfeiffer, her channel, just to make sure I was doing it right. And then I think Helen D was the other person that I watched, and I used some of their tips, a combination of their tips in this project. Like I put the yarn in the corners and then held it there with the pen while I finished stuffing it. Used the pen to hold the corners once I got them stuffed. I did a combination of both of those ladies' tutorials for pillow finishing. And this tag is from Ever Emblem on Etsy, and I think she also has a freestanding website that you can order from. I'm a pretty regular customer of hers, but I really like those. And for my personal projects, I use these stickers. These are iron-on, and it's on there. And then for my project bags that I sell, I have a Layla P Creations tag, a satin tag that goes on the side that I use from her. So I really enjoy her projects, but I'm very pleased with how this turned out. I probably wouldn't have used this color fabric, but it's just something about it. I thought it would work, and it did, and I'm very happy with it. That is my first fully finished of 2025, so I'm very pleased with it. I actually did not think I had that many whips to show, but then when I went back through my list, and I was like, you know what, I did at least touch quite a few things. So, And the reason I didn't think I had that much was because I did go out of town, which I'll talk about later. And then I was focused on those finishes. So when I do my monthly projects, or when I decide what I'm going to work on, this year I've been putting them on an index card. And I'll just put it on an index card, and I have, you know, the things whips I want to work on, and then I'll have maybe new starts that are possible that I might pick up, and then I will have, you know, a couple of sewing projects that maybe I want to work on, and then I have a list of things that I plan to work on every month, no matter what, and I have 3 things on that list. So when I looked at my card, I picked up more than I thought I did. I just did not necessarily always meet the goal that I had set. And I've got a couple days left in this month, but one of the things that was on my focus on a finish, or I was getting ready to put it on my focus on a finish, was Annie's Market. And since Nutcracker Tree got finished, I went ahead and put Annie's Market next in the rotation of things I wanted to work on, because I really thought I was going to be able to get it done. I was not successful, you all. I'm so close. So this is what it looks like. This is from Just Crossstitch magazine, October 2004. So this has been in my stash for a long time. I started this in the fall of 2002. So we're coming up on like 2.5 years that I've been working on it. But that's okay, because I'm very, very close to a finish. I'll insert a picture of where I was, and this is where I am now. We are almost there, you all. The backstitch is all that's left. I finished the trees. I had a little corner of the house left to do. I finished these trees here, and then I did all the clouds and the birds. So all that's done. I have started the backstitch. I don't know if you can see it on the pumpkins down here. Put the stems in on the pumpkins. I think I did I did a little bit on the door here. And I started on the flower pots, the strings to hang the flower pots. So, and I think I've got a little bit up here on the roof. And then I started outlining the block. If you've been here before, you know that I plan to change the words Annie's Market to Cory's Market. So I'm going to chart that out sometime this week. And then I have a lot of backstitch left to do, you all. It's mostly white. It's like the panes of the windows and the molding on the doors, and then outlining just the rooftops and finishing up the pumpkins. So I've got quite a bit left to do. I was really pushing to get this done. And then once I realized, you know what, you got too much to do, you're not going to get it done, I moved on to something else. So I think the last time I worked on this was maybe last Sunday. So I'm okay with that. I'm just going to plug away between now and my next video and get it done so I can show it next time. So again, this is Annie's Market, and it is a 32 count Rogue, Lugana by Rogue stitches, I think, and Moonstone is the color. And I'm very pleased with this. See how that even looks like clouds? So I'm very glad with my placement, you all. These trees and the clouds, that was harder than the rest of the picture. I think it was primarily because I was ready to be done. And I was just like, oh, these are taking so long. But I love the effect of them. And then those little birds over here. So all the crosses are done. Now I just got to finish the black backstitch. And I'm determined to get it done sometime within the next 2 or 3 weeks. I'm normally trying to get on a schedule of more of a 3-week. But you all will see why I missed it this month. But I'm just glad I'm before you now getting a video to you. This next one was not even, I don't even think it was on my original card as a plan. But this is my February Cottage by Cottage Needleworks. And I started this at the end of February. It might have even been March, you all, when I finally picked it up. But it's a 32 count Lugana, and it's a no-name color from Color and Cotton. I really enjoy working on this fabric. It's very pretty. I'll put in a picture of where I was, and here's where I am now. I don't remember where I was last time, but I know I finished the roof this time and started on the windows. So that's the main thing that I probably got done. I know I finished the border up at the top. So I'm probably going to work on this maybe till the end of May. And this has primarily been my work stitch, although I did take it on my trip. And I did work on it on the plane, I think, going there, because I wanted something simple on the plane. And so this is what I took, and I finished the roof. So I have quite a bit more to do, but I'm not pressed on this one. I think I'll work on it till the end of May, simply because that is how long I will be working. And then I will move on to something else. I do have a couple more cottages that I want to start, but I'm going to do them all on this one piece of fabric. I've got quite a bit of fabric under here, so I think I could fit at least 4 on this one piece of fabric. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this one before I move on to another one. I think the next month I have, or that I want to work on, will probably be October. I think I have October, November, and December, so those would be the other 3 that I put on here. And I think I own January and June. I know I have June, so maybe I'll start June next. I don't know. So that is that block of the month, or the cottage of the month. The next one, I was not sure I had started on this or had done any work on this, but then I looked at my pattern keeper and I had. So this next one is A Study in Pink by the Artsy Housewife. And this is being done on a 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana. And I have one of my me-made needle minders on it. It's a bug. And let me give you the stats on this before I show it. I've done a total of 808 stitches out of 12,429 stitches. So I'm sitting at 6.5%, and I've done 304 stitches since the last time we were together. So this is what it looked like before, and this is where I am. So I know I just did mainly this area, and then I think I finished these prongs up there at the top. So it's coming along. This is definitely something I'm going to keep working on throughout the spring and the summer. But it's a beautiful butterfly. I don't think I showed that part. But that's what it looks like. It's supposed to look like. And I like it that all 4 quadrants of the butterfly are different. And that's where I am. I am using a combination of overdyed flosses. The pattern calls for, I think, Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works and some Classic Color Works. And then if I had the thread already, I'm using it. But if I didn't, I converted it to Color and Cotton. So very pleased with the progress, and I'm ready to really jump into this one, especially once school is out and I have more time. So that is A Study in Pink. And this next one, same thing, you all. I didn't think I touched it because it's been about 4 weeks since I was last with you, and most of these got touched right after my last video, so that's why I didn't remember. But this next one is part of a stitch along that me and Stitch and Jim are working on. Jim has a Flosstube channel. Hopefully you are following her as well. But she is a big sampler stitcher. And I had mentioned I was going to start this, and she was like, hey, I'll start it with you. Let's do a stitch along. So that's what we are doing. We started it last year No pressure. Matter of fact, I think she just recently posted on her stories on Instagram a finish that somebody either tagged her on it or tagged us on it. It was on Instagram, but it was beautifully done. So Phoenix Sampler is by Twin Peak Primitives. I got my copy off of Etsy. It was a digital copy, but a lot of stores do carry her items. But she's got beautiful samplers, and this is the Phoenix Sampler. And I'll put the hashtag that we're using down below. But since our last video, my last video, I have done 177 stitches. So I've done 6,030 stitches total out of the 24,009 stitches that are in the project. So I'm sitting at 25.12%. So here's where I am. I did not do a lot, and it's very easy for me to see what I did. I just extended this border, and I want to say I maybe extended this one a little bit. And then I started on, there's a bee, a bumblebee right here. So I did start that. And then I've been filling in a little bit of these leaves and things because there's a big urn right here that I'm ready to get to. And then up under the urn is the house. So just plugging away, but I'm excited to be at 25%. Sorry about that glare. So the big part is still to come, but I'm pretty much done here at the top. So now I can move my nerd hoop down a little bit and start filling it in. So that is Phoenix Sampler by Twin Peak Primitives. And I believe you can get it on their website, twinpeaksprimitives.com. I think they have a website as well. Phoenix Sampler is being stitched on a 25 count Lugana, okay? And I think it was Shadow is the name of the fabric. Let me look and see if I have that written down. Yes, Shadow Lugana. So it's 25 count, so that means it's 1/1. That's one of my favorite ways to stitch. So that's why it looks so small, because it is a 25 count. But 25 count, I love it. I love working on it, and that is a very easy stitch to work on. So up next, I have another stitch along that I'm participating in, and this one was started by the Sunshine Stitchers. And I participated in the one they did last year, and I enjoyed it so much I came back for round 2. But this is Modern Folk Embroidery, Put a Bird on It. And I'm using my own floss conversion that I came up with on my own based on a piece of fabric that I had. I like the colors in it, so I just pulled and purchased color and cotton flosses. It's being done in all color and cotton flosses, and a solo die 32 count Lugana from Color and Cotton as well. So this is the chart. I know for this time I did these 2 motifs. That is what I added. So here's where I was, and here is where I am. So I kind of decided to go around. I think I started here, and then I came down, and then I came back up, and now I'm headed across, and this is the last one. So this is how big it's going to be. This is the final size. So now I'm kind of deciding on placement as I go. So this is Abyss, and this big motif in the middle, that's also going to be an Abyss. So that'll be here. This is Red Velvet. All of the motifs that are birds have the red velvet. This is Sweet Basil, Waltz. I think that's ended up being my favorite color, so I will definitely have that on here a couple more times. And this is Prussian Blue, and there's Prussian Blue down here too. So this is Sangria. I have not done that one again. I think I'm going to repeat that one. So we're on a motif up here. This is a bird, so this is going to be Red Velvet. And all of the numbers and the letters are going to be in praline. All of these are color and cotton colors. So I'm very pleased. I don't know if you all can see the modeling on this, but it's got just a very slight modeling on it. It's a solo die, so it does not have a name. And I tend to get a lot of her solo dies because you know they're not going to be available later, so I tend to grab them when I see them if I really want them. So again, this is Put a Bird on It. Let me give you the stats for this one. The total number of stitches for this project is 13,557 total. I have done 4,661 stitches, and that puts me at 34.34%. I'm sorry, 34.38%, and I have done 948 stitches since the last time we were here together. So very excited. I'm wavering a little bit with what I want to do the colors over here. This side was easy because I was, you know, trying to use them all at least once. I think I've got Waltz coming up again somewhere over here, Sangria again over here. That big one, I'm thinking I might just tackle that in the month of either May or June. I've got another trip I'm going on, so I'll have a little more. This one will be in the car, so I'll have a lot of stitch time. So I'm trying to decide which way I want to go because this one definitely will go with me. I think I need to get to 38% to be on track for the month. I did not get to 10%. Anything on Pattern Keeper, I try to do at least 10%. I did not get to that last month. So I'm a tiny bit behind, but not a lot. I think I want to, if I do 10% every month, that puts me at 40% by the end of April. So I'm not quite there, but I'm going to work on this today when I sit down after dinner. So that is Put a Bird on It. And if you still want to join that stitch along, feel free. There are some people that are done. And I'm just trying to pace myself. I'm not trying to, and if I pace myself the way that I'm going so far, I will be finished by October, November. And the stitch along officially doesn't end until December. So I'm still ahead of the game. All right, I think this is my last whip, you all. This is my last whip, and it is Rose of Sharon by Mirabilia. This is being done on a 32 count solo die, once again from Color and Cotton. I'm stitching this 2/2, 32 count. I am converting her dress from yellow and blue to pink and green, and doing a skin tone conversion on her as well. If you watch the Globetrotting Stitcher, she's almost done with this. And she did it, you know, as charted, but it's beautiful. And this is only my second Fancy Lady. So I am, like I said, I put in where I was. And here's where I am now. I wish I could keep track of my stitches on this, but this is on paper. But I finally have outlined that face that is at the top. I did a top center start. So I'm finally at that, where that face is on that cherub. So I finally got it outlined. And it looks dark to me, but I like it. The threads are turning out darker than I anticipated. And it could just be because of the fabric color. Because this is like a taupe color, and I'm doing it on a blue. So I think maybe the colors are just appearing darker because of the color fabric that I'm using. But I really like it. I've got a few little rosebuds in there. It's just tedious trying to read it on the paper chart. I have made a working copy, so I've got the big sheet and I divided it up into a number of pages, but I'm focused on the arbor, and then I will jump into her dress. So I want to get enough of the arbor coming down on the sides so I can count over and get into the meat of her dress, because that is the main part of my conversion. And here are my colors. And I think I'm going to go through and maybe cut these. These are DMC, and see, I just kind of looped them around a ruler. So I'm thinking I may just cut them into equal lengths, and I think they'll sit nicer on my floss drops. This is my first time using floss drops, and I just did it for this project because I knew I would not be taking these threads out of this project. So that is Rose of Sharon, and this is my first Mirabilia. I'm pleased with it. I'm a little nervous about the color conversion. These pinks, these are the pinks, and these are the greens. So I am a little nervous about that, but we're gonna see it through. I thought I'd go ahead and just share my 2 sewing finishes, and then that will take me into my investments, and I'll finish up with just a few upcoming plans for the month of May. So I went on a trip with my high school. We traveled to New York City with some students that were interested in fashion or fashion design. And we were there for 4 days, the 4 days before Easter. So on this trip, I knew we'd be doing a lot of walking. I knew we would be out and about. The itinerary had us leaving the hotel at 9:30 in the morning and not coming back till 10:30 at night. They were keeping us busy and on the go the entire time. So I wanted something that I could carry on my back, like a backpack. But I didn't want a full backpack. I used to carry, whenever I traveled, I used to carry Layla's volleyball backpack from when she did travel ball. They had a huge backpack, and I loved it because I could put everything in there and it would still fit under the seat and on the plane. So I still use that from time to time. But this, I didn't want something that big. I wanted a sling bag. So I had this pattern in my stash for quite some time. I actually cut this bag out 3 years ago. This summer would have been 3 years that I cut this bag out. And I stopped working on it. And I knew this would be the perfect bag for what I wanted it to do. And let me preface this. I guess you could consider this a review of the pattern. I am always going to be truthful in what I share, but I'm going to do my best to do it in love. And the pattern is the Park Sling backpack by So Sweetness. And it was a PDF. Like I said, I purchased this a good 3-4 years ago and just cut it out 3 years ago. I wanted to do the big one because that, like I said, I want to put a water bottle. I want to put everything in it. If I buy anything, I want it to go in the backpack. And I eventually said I would make the smaller version. That's good for local, just shopping, running to the store real quick. And I just like the shape of it, the size of it. I like the zipper pocket on the front. It's got 2 zipper pockets on the inside and a mesh pocket on the inside. Perfect. I love pockets. I had this fabric picked out. And before I show it to you all, I have to say, I did not enjoy making this bag. I love making bags. If you've been here any length of time, you know that I enjoy making bags because you've seen at least a couple of them. And of course, I make the project bags for my Etsy shop. I love making bags. Bags and outerwear are the 2 things I love to sew. Jackets. Oh, I love sewing jackets. Coats, capes. I love sewing that kind of stuff. And I love sewing bags. Not this one, you all. I remembered very quickly why I put this bag down and had not finished it. Because I had gone over to storage, our storage unit. If you're new here, we are in an apartment. We sold our house very quickly 3 years ago. And we have plans to move, but those plans have not come to fruition yet. So we're in limbo, in prayer. We want everything to be right. So I put this in storage. And I was like, you know what? I want to take this bag on this trip. Let me get it out. I very quickly remembered why I put it in storage. So let me show you the final bag. I used one of those Alexander Henry. This is an Alexander Henry print. You know, these African print, these Afro ladies, I call them Black Beauty. I had this fabric in 3 colorways. This was the pastel colorway. And the other one was like a maroon and brown and black colorway. And then the other colorway was more orange and rust and green. So I saved this colorway to do this bag in. And I think I maybe did 1 or 2 project bags out of this. And they sold very quickly. And I'm on the prowl. If y'all come across any of this, more of this fabric, let me know. I want more. I had big plans for this bag, you all. Here's the sling strap. I think out of everything, this was the easiest part of the whole bag. I struggled. And I struggled so bad, I even took it to work and had my coworker look at it. And we do that to each other all the time. If a kid in the sewing class is having trouble, she'll bring me the pattern and have me look on it. And I encourage anybody to do that. If you know somebody that's a sewist and can help you with something, let them put their eyes on it, and that'll give you fresh insight. And they may see what you're missing because you've been looking at it for so long. So I took it to work and I said, Mandy, I need you to look at this because I'm lost. I don't know what to do. And it was attaching, I want to say it was attaching this side part of this zipper. I was not understanding. So here, let me just show you the whole bag. Here's one of the front pockets, and it has a slip pocket in here. I love polka dots, y'all know that. So I had the inside polka dots, and then here's the other zip pocket. And you see, I just picked different pastels that were in the bag, and the slip pocket, and you can see how deep it is. Very easy to pack. And then this is the main compartment. Again, another zipper color just found in there. And here's the other pocket. It's got an orange zipper on it. And I made the pockets have a colored zipper so I could find them easily. It really isn't that great of an idea to do a dark lining on a bag. And I know that. But I wanted the black polka dots. And then here's the mesh pocket down here, and it's black mesh. So very roomy. I love this hanging strap, and I really like this. I have 2 D-rings on it that I can switch it, so if I want to wear it a different way, and I'll try to insert a picture of me with it on. But you all, it wasn't fun at all. And the zipper installation, I know how to put a zipper in. It just was not working. And then you all, when it was time to birth the bag, there was supposed to be a hole in the pocket in the main compartment. Like one side of the pocket, it's a welt pocket. So it's like you have your main piece of fabric, and then there's a doubled up piece of fabric behind it, and that's your pocket. I think there was supposed to be a hole in the side of of that pocket. It didn't tell me to do that in the instructions. I read the instructions numerous times before I even start, which anybody should do. As a teacher, that's what I always recommend my students do. With a recipe or with a sewing pattern, read it multiple times before you begin. I can't find where it told me to leave a hole in the pocket. Because when it came time to birth it, I started looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute, where's the hole I'm supposed to pull all this through? So I had to go back, and it said that was where I was supposed to pull it from, but I don't remember them ever telling me to leave the hole. You all, I was so frustrated. It's like the night before I'm leaving on this trip and I'm trying to get this bag done. I got it done, but at first I was not happy. Pressing it was rough, and looking at it now, it looks fine. It looks great. I love it. Will I make it again? I doubt it. Jen from Two Tall Stitchers was recently talking about a bag that she called it, and she had a nice way of saying it, fiddly. And she was saying she would probably maybe later, after she's had some space from it, do it again. But I felt everything she said in my soul. I did not enjoy making this bag. I love the style of it. But it did not come together. And here's the thing, you all. There's a video that goes with the bag. I didn't buy the video because I'm the kind of person, I prefer written instructions. I know that's shocking. I love making videos to do instructions, but I don't need them usually in order to make something. This bag humbled me. And I first saw the pattern, or I looked up people's opinions on it on the Creative Bag Making Facebook page. And everybody on there was like, oh, I love it, oh, the other, but they all used the video. I did notice that after I'd already started it. And I was like, okay, well, maybe I really want this to be right. I love this fabric. I don't want to mess up this fabric. Maybe I should get the video. So I go to see how much the video is. It was $9. No. As I say on the Martin show, I'm not paying the $5. I'm not paying the $9. I just couldn't do it. I did not feel like I should have to pay an additional $9 after I've already paid $9 for the pattern. Just my opinion. I am not mad at anybody. If you want to pay it, I am, hey. And I think they had a bundle when I could have initially purchased. I think it would have been cheaper if I'd have got the video and the bag together. I wasn't a fan. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I even went on YouTube to see if maybe somebody else had done a video. But I'm sure there would probably be a copyright issue with that, or whatever the case may be. I'm not mad that she charges for her video. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like the instructions should be crystal clear to where you don't need the video. That's just my opinion. So, Park Sling backpack is in the books. Like I said, I do not foresee making the other copy or the other version anytime soon. Am I going to use this one? I sure am. I'm going to wear it out. I'm going on a trip to go pick up Layla from school in a couple of weeks. I'll probably take it. But would I make it again? Probably not. Would I recommend it? I'm going to leave that up to you all. But if you are going to do it and you are not an experienced sewist, I would definitely recommend, if you want to buy the video, to do that. But I feel like I'm super experienced and shouldn't need the video. But I probably would have saved myself a lot of grief if I'd have had the video. So I wish I'd have known that from the get-go, because I would have rather have spent the lesser amount of money to get the video. But I just didn't, it wasn't justifiable for me to pay that for a video. So that being said, I'm glad it's done. I did learn quite a few things. And that's definitely something to keep in mind. If you're not experienced bag maker, build your way up. I wouldn't have made it through it if I didn't have experience. Cause I mean, I was just like, when I got to the end, it was time. I mean, and then you all had to seam rip that side. Boy, you should have seen me birthing that bag. I was just like, Lord, please don't let it rip. Please don't let it rip. Please don't let it rip. Because that's how small that hole was. And it took me about 10 minutes to get it through the hole and turn it inside out and do all that. So, yeah, that was an experience. I got it done and it was successful. So, the other sewing project that I worked on, and then I will go into investments, is this mermaid bag. It is just a zip top bag with a box bottom that I decided to make because here's the other one I had. I had this one, and I keep my hoops and nurges and Q-snaps and everything. I want to keep them all in one place. So I had this bag, same thing, box bottom, zip top, but as you can see, it's not big enough. This, I mean, after you get so many things in here, it's not going to close anymore. So I decided to go a little bit bigger, and I'll put the dimensions down below what this size was. And then I said, okay, I'm just going to add a couple of inches and make it deeper. So that's when I came up with this. And this was a fabric that I found at Joann's, and it is a canvas. It is not cotton. It's just a canvas. So I decided to use this fabric because I wanted to feature those mermaids. So these are the two on this side, and then there's this one, and the one at the bottom. I couldn't quite get them on there all like I wanted to because I think I only had half a yard. So I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have a lot to play with. So I just did the best I could. I think it's 3 different mermaids. So I got them all 3 on there. So there's the yellow, the blue, and then the pink. And like I said, I was working with only half a yard, so I didn't have a lot of space to spare. I would have liked this one to be a little more centered, but hey, I worked with what I had. And then I used this, just a cotton lining. And then I did a little loop on the side just to help me close it and stuff. So very pleased with it. So in here, and I'll put the dimensions of this one down below, but everything's going to fit in this one. Okay. And I especially like the fact that the bottom is boxed, and it'll make it a little wider. So let's see what's in this bag, because I put all my investments in this bag. So I'm going to start off with my fabrics of the month. I have 3 of them because, like I said, one came at the end of March after I'd filmed the last time, and then my 2 Aprils have already come in. So I'm going to start with my March for Under the Sea fabrics. And this, I always get a 32 count Lugana in both companies. And this is Faunus by Under the Sea fabrics. So it is a dark kind of wheat, chocolate, whatever you want to call it, color brown. Nice neutral. So Under the Sea fabrics, 32 count Lugana, Faunus. So that's my first one. I'm going to try to minimize the crinkling. The second one is my March for Bestitch Me. Now, at the beginning of the year, I didn't realize I had to renew my Bestitch Me. And when I finally realized it, I had the option of changing my preferences. So I decided to give it a shot. The previous 2 years, I was getting alternating months, neutral color. So I decided, because I have quite a bit of neutral now, and plus I'm right down the street from Color and Cotton, so it's very easy for me to get neutrals from there. So I was like, let me just join the color club for Bestitch Me. So here is my March, and it is colorful. This is Radioactive, 32 count Lugana. That's some bright stuff right there, y'all. It's like a lime electric green, but I like it. I think something fun, like a soda stitch or a frosted pumpkin design would look good on this. I even considered it maybe for the Wizard of Oz tree. I don't know. I'm gonna have to lay those colors on there and see. But I always get a fat quarter. So I was like, ooh, when I opened this one, I did. I was like, wow, I've never seen anything this neonish. And Radioactive is the perfect name. I just love seeing what the names of these are every month. So that's a good one. This next one came just this couple days ago, and this is my April fabric of the month for Bestitch Me, and this is Wild Bouquet. Look at that. again, this would look good on something. Something fun would look good on this. And I have a couple of ideas. Those monthly villages for Country Cottage Needleworks. I think one of those will look good on this, like the April with those spring colors, but it goes from yellow to purple with some blues and greens in the middle. Very pretty. I like this one a lot, and I will find something to go on that one. But something fun would go on it very well too. Soda Stitch will look good on this. So those are my colors of the month. Y'all know I normally don't do this, but I got something in my throat. I may edit that out. All right, so those are the fabrics of the month that I have invested in. So I went to Color and Cotton yesterday. And these next two fabrics, I'm going to show you the plan I have for those fabrics because that's why I bought them. I carry with me when I go to Color and Cotton, and I'm just going to show you these papers real quick. I have, and I keep them in a sleeve, like a clear plastic protector, and I put them in, and I have a little one of those little book rings on the corner. So one of the pages, I always take my Overdye floss inventory list. I have a Color and Cotton one, and I don't know if you all have seen this. She has this on her website. It's a thread list. She has an active list and an inactive list. And the inactive list, that does not mean she doesn't carry it in the store. It just means she's not producing it, is from what I understand. So there may be some in the store. And I even found a couple colors that were on both lists. So I don't know what that means. But I just go through and now I highlight the colors that I own. That way I can keep it straight. So I take this with me when I go to the store. I take my Gentle Arts, Color, Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works. I have a typed up list that I have for each of those. And then I take my conversion list. I have things that I have converted to Color and Cotton colors. I put, you know, the Color and Cotton color and what it can take the place of. I keep that list. And then whenever I have additions, I put them down here. But then I also take a list of projects that I am wanting to buy fabric for. And what I do is I list the project, the name of the project. I put the stitch count. And then I also put how big I need it cut. So I figure out, you know, my border fabric, margin fabric, whatever you want to call it. And then I put on here how much, I put the name of the chart and the stitch count. And then over here, I put how much I need cut on different size counts. Okay, so for instance, this Christmas Rules by Primrose. I think that's Primrose. I want to do that. And I have on here, I know I definitely only want to do it in 32 count. So I have the 32 count cut size I need. This, let's see, which one do I have on here? Wizard of Oz tree. The size of that is 142 by 190. And then over here, I've listed what size I need to cut if I'm going to do it in 32 count or if I'm going to do it in 28 count. So I take this with me. And you see it's two-sided. Well, the ones that you see the lines through, those are the ones I've recently taken care of. And two of them got crossed off this week. So those two are, and I'm going to insert a picture of this first one. I could not find my copy of it, but luckily I made my working copy a while ago, and I think I put the original in storage. So I'm going to go over there and try to find it. But the title of the chart, and it was nowhere on here, so I had to look it up online. It is Egyptian Rulers, and it is Queen Nefertiti is the one I'm going to do. Tutankhamun and Nefertiti are both in there. It's called Valley of the Kings, Egyptian Rulers. I think it's a Jan Lin chart. I'm not positive on that. But I will insert a picture because I did find a picture of it online, and I'll insert a picture. But it is done on a navy blue background. And I did want to go ahead and use the navy blue because there are certain spots in the chart that are not covered. So basically the background, you need it in the chart because the outline has some unstitched area in it. And so navy blue is important because it's mostly turquoise and blue in this chart. And then lots of metallics. This chart called for something called True Colors Pre-Blended Thread. And that's where the metallics come in, the golds and the bronzes and stuff. Well, even when I bought this chart, and I don't even see the copyright on here of the chart, but that doesn't mean, but I didn't copy the inside front cover, so maybe it's on that. And I'll mention it in a future video. But even back then, I had never heard of these colors, these threads. So, but it does give you a Krynic and DMC conversion, and you have to blend those two together. So the model was stitched on 2 threads, 2/2 on 25 count. But listen to this, you all. It says the stitchers used 3 threads. Sorry, I still got something in my throat. 3 threads of DMC. I have to see what thread, how much thread I'm going to use. Like I said, they did it in 25 count, 2/2. That's a big project. I'm not going to do it that big. So what did I get to do it on? Let me get to the point. This is a 28 count navy Lugana. And I decided to go with 28 count because I had been looking for a 32, but you all, this is a dark fabric. I'm going to be working on this project on paper, not on Pattern Keeper. And I just didn't want anything else to hamper me or slow me down. So that's why I decided to go with 28 count. So 2/2 is what I'm planning to do. I think that 3/2, that's what they did with the model. I think that's too much. So I'm going to go 2/2 with the Krynic and DMC combination. Now it said 2 strands of blending filament and 2 strands of DMC. Ooh, that seems thick still. So I'm gonna have to play around with this. This is a summer project, but this has been on my list of things to do. Oh, you all have had this chart at least 20 years, at least. So I'm finally getting to it. And if you've been here any length of time, y'all see that's kind of how I roll. I do some old things and some new stuff. I try to mix it up. So that has been on my to buy fabric list for quite some time. I mean, here it is right here. You see it's right here at the top. So it's been on this list for quite some time. And just to help myself, I put the measurement sizes. I put fat eighth, fat quarter, and fat half. So I will know how big those pieces are. Because I know they get tired of me asking when I'm in the store, what, how big is this again? But some companies, their size for a fat quarter is different. So you have to ask, but for me, I just wanted to keep it in mind what sizes it is so I can make sure I always buy enough of what I need. So that was very reasonably priced. So that's that. And then the other piece I got from her is one of her, I think it was a fabric of the month. And she had a 32 count Lugana in the store. And actually, I think I saw a 28 and I asked her, could I get a 32? Because I had another project in mind. So this is Spring Tide by Color and Cotton. It is a 32 count. And she had just this whole piece for me to look at because she said she can cut it and cut it down to the size that I need. I said, no, give me the whole thing. I can come up with some other stuff I can use for this. So this is Spring Tide. Now, some of you may have gotten this as your fabric of the month in linen, and it was much brighter. But I was just glad she had something that I could use. And it's got a few blues and greens with a tiny hint of yellow, I feel like. So that's one half of it, and here's the other half. A little bit darker blues on this part. So I can determine which piece or which part I want to use for this project. Another one, y'all, the copyright on this chart is 1987. Okay, I want to say I've probably had it since it came out. But Barbara and Sharon was one of my favorite designers back in the day when I first started stitching. And if this is your first time here, I've been stitching consistently since 1988, 87, something like that. So this is around that time that I was starting to stitch. And I've always liked complicated projects. So it's not surprising that this is one that I've picked. But I didn't have a fabric. I didn't want to do a gray. I didn't want to do a taupe. I didn't want to do antique white like I usually did. So I just held on to it until I found something that would work. I think this will work. And it is Rainbow Row by Barbara and Sharon. It's been on my list forever. But the stitch count on it is 494 wide. So this way, 494 by 116. So that's a specialty cut. I can't find a fat quarter to fit that. Fat quarter is not going to be big enough. So the way I had it figured out, if I was going to do a 28 count, which I did not want to do because that's huge, I would have needed a 41 by 14.5 inch piece. So with a 32 count, I needed a 21.5 by 19.5. I could do that. A fat half is 27 by 36. So I'm going to figure out which piece of this I want to use. And then I'm going to cut that area. I'm not going to leave it all in one big piece like this. That's just too much to try and wrangle. I'm going to get another, what do you call it? Roller frame. I'm going to get one especially for this so it can stay on it at all times. And then I'm going to jump into this summer. So this project. So those were all my fabric purchases. Super excited that both of those fabrics are definitely going to get used on something else. So what else did I get? I got some of these tapestry petites, by Colonial. I have been in my feelings since John and James discontinued their petites. So these look like an alternative. So I'm going to give them a try. I picked these up at Color and Cotton. And then this last one, I've been hearing about these. They're not nickel plated, but these are the ponies. And I got the black. They had them where the eye was blue, and they had it where the eye was white. So I'm sure, you know, if you have a black thread, maybe the white would be better. If you have a black or a light color thread, maybe these would be better. I don't know. I'm going to try them out though, because I've heard good things about these needles. And she had quite a few available. So I was very excited about that. I am a 26 size, 26 needle girl. I don't care what it is, that's what I'm using. I have started though, I have moved to 24 for linen because those holes in linen are much bigger. Let's see, did I get anything else? I got a few threads, Color and Cottons, that are conversions for a project that I'm going to start soon. So this is Bubbly. This is Riverside. This is Mustard Seed. And this is Garden Sage. So those are the ones I got. And I think that's it for my investments. Nope, that was not it for my investments. I got 2 Miss Dies from Color and Cotton. I had a piece of paper sitting on top of them, so I forgot to mention them. But I gotta mention them because this was not on my list to buy when I went in the store yesterday, but I grabbed them quickly. She puts a lot of her Miss Dies, or as she calls them, happy little accidents, on her website. They aren't always in the store. So when I went in yesterday and I saw these in the store, I said, okay, let me get these while I can. So I got 2 of them. They are 400 yards each. So this is prime candidate for a monochromatic stitch, or just maybe a series of some sort, but I don't know, but I got some ideas already working. So this one, Miss Dye Thread Hank, 400 yards. You can do a lot of things with that, you all. And this is kind of like a dark pink. And then this one is a green. Hunter, like a hunter green. There's a little bit of variegation in it. Not a lot though, in either one. So actually these will be good together. But I have a Christmas Quaker that I think may look good with this. So that was an exciting purchase. And I think that's it for real now. So I told you all about the New York trip. I enjoyed it. I did not, you know, when you're trying to wrangle 25 teenagers and making sure everybody's safe and making sure everybody stays together and nobody gets lost, we didn't have a lot of time to do our own thing, us adults. So I did go to, I did go to Mood. I know people are familiar with Mood from Project Runway. I'm not gonna lie to you all, I didn't buy anything. I was overwhelmed. And I didn't have any projects at the forefront of my mind that I wanted to buy something with. And then the way the store is laid out, it was just a lot. So I just walked around. I was able to say I went, and I did not buy anything. But now some of the other shops around it, I did buy some bag making supplies. Like I bought some zippers. I bought some findings, you know, things like that. I did buy some African prints. There is an actual store that sells primarily African prints, and it was too far away from the center of where we were supposed to be as a group. So I did not get there. But you all, I'm going back to New York City. This was my first time there since I was a teenager. And when I was a teenager, we didn't get out the car. We just drove through Times Square. I remember that. And saw that. And then we went on our merry way. I think we were headed back to DC. But I remember I was a freshman in high school. That's the last time I was in New York City. It's been on my list to go for years. So when my coworker asked me, you want to go? I was like, okay. Everything went fine. You know how teenagers are. But if you are ever in New York City and you need a hat made, go to the hat lady. She did a talk for our students and she was wonderful. I'm going to order my husband a hat, and I'm going to get me a hat from her. But my husband, I'm going to get his first. He's getting in the hats. He's getting older, and he's getting in the hats. So I'm going to get him a hat from her shop. And, you know, they got to meet a costume designer and hear a talk from him. I mean, we went to a Broadway show. Sunset Boulevard was the Broadway show. It was interesting. And just did a lot of walking. I think the highest count I had on steps was maybe 14,000 one day. But every day it was at least 12,000 steps every day. And we had a charter bus that was taking us different places. I definitely want to find a place to stay near a subway station and go that way. Just jump on the subway and explore it that way. I definitely want to take my daughter. She'd have loved it. So maybe that's a family trip we can take in the future. Because like I said, there was a lot of shopping I did not get a chance to do. They toured Parsons School of Design. They did do that. So it was a fun trip. 4 days with 25 teenagers was a lot. And I think it was a lot for them. They were sick of each other, I think. Because, you know, they got to, some little groups got to bickering, and I think they were just tired of each other. Because, I mean, you usually see these people, you know, one period a day, lunchtime at school. Now you're spending 24 hours with them. But I did have my own room at the hotel. And we stayed at a Hampton Inn right across from the MetLife Center. It was a night. I like that place. If we go back, I would like to stay there if possible. But it was in Jersey. And we just took the tour bus into the city each day. But it was fun. It was a good experience. And it gave me a framework for when I want to go back. If you follow me on Instagram, I posted a picture of me at a street festival in Brooklyn. That was on the very last day. And that was it for me. I got to people watch. I got to see, you know, real people. Manhattan has a lot of tourists. So we were around a lot of people who were there like us. They were just tourists. But Brooklyn had more of the locals and people that actually live in New York City. And boy, I had a time. I ate street food and just watched people. We were near shopping, but I didn't care. I wanted to watch people. So that's what I did. I sat there on a stone wall in the middle of the park, kicking my feet, eating ice cream and street corn and other things, and watching people walk by. That was the highlight of the trip for me. Plus, I had a little downtime with just me, because everybody had kind of scattered and was shopping. So I enjoyed it. So I will go back. Like I said, if you like African prints, you will see some of those pop up in my Etsy shop very soon, because that's what I mainly got, smaller prints that would fit on project bags. And I got one print to do me a tent dress out of this summer. So I enjoyed that trip. Thank you to everybody who expressed love for Layla's quilt, which I featured in my last Flosstube, finally finished. Thank you for all your kind comments on Trent and how tall he's getting. But thank you. It was a good project. I'm actually in the middle of another t-shirt quilt that I'm working on for a coworker who is retiring, made from our high school t-shirts. So I think I'm going to do a shadow box quilt for those t-shirts. She just wants 12 shirts on a lap size. So that is what I'm in the process of doing. Red is the main color, but I'm also going to accent it with some white and some black because some of the shirts are red. So sashing red and the shirts red is not going to work. So I'm going to supplement with a little bit of black and white. That's all I've been doing. Plans, I don't have any big plans, you all. Just to continue with many of the projects that you've seen. I want to add some more spring projects. The only project that I plan to start, and I know this one I'm going to start for sure. Mother's Day is coming. I try to do a start on Mother's Day. So this year I have picked Floral Alphabet by JBW. And I have had these threads for quite some time. I'm just using the antique white Lugana, but these DMCs, red and green variegated, I've had these for quite a while, and you see I have a lot of them. What I would do is whenever I would have like a 60% off or 50% off or 40% off from Joann's that I wasn't going to use on anything else, I would just go grab one of these, because I think these are like $2 or $3 a piece. So I would just go, these are those Colorise ones, so I would just go grab one of these, spend $1 and get it. So that's why I have so many. I don't need all these for this project. It's kind of a small project. But here is the bag I'm keeping it in, and there's my antique white Lugana that I got from Color and Cotton and Spicer Weigert. The other project I may start is Summer Quaker. I bought this last summer, but I didn't start it. And I was going to do it, you know, just like this. I was going to use Lemon Tart Color and Cotton thread. And I may have even shown you all that. But I've changed my mind. Go a different route. Instead of Lemon Tart Yellow, I'm going to use Orange Soda Orange. I'll do a little different. Now, I'm probably going to do the yellow one too, a yellow version too, but this orange was talking to me. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Maybe Memorial Day weekend. I'll get started on this. I have one bag that I plan to make this summer, and I bought the project, the Ultimate Travel Bag. I'm sure you all have seen this. A lot of people are using these for retreat bags. I want to say Stitch and Jim, she just showed hers that she ordered from somebody. But this has been on my list forever, so I bought the pattern, a good month ago. and I'm on the lookout for a fabric to use on it. So those are my plans. I have one other bag that I'm working on, but I'll show it finished when it's done. So that's pretty much it, you all. I don't know how long this video is gonna be. I had to stop a few times because I had coughing fit. So hopefully I remember to edit that out. But yeah, I'm in the home stretch for school. Senior's last day is the 7th of May. Graduation is the 10th, and then we're done on the 23rd. So I've got to get that quilt done before the 23rd. Actually, I need to get it done hopefully by Mother's Day because I'm going to give it to my mom to quilt for me. Thank you all for your kind comments on my mom's quilting. She's great. She does amazing work, and that's one thing I need to learn how to do from her. She has a long arm, and I need to learn how to do it. I don't know why. I think piecing is just my thing, but she's an amazing piecer and amazing quilter. So I need to get that skill. I don't know why I'm dragging my feet. I want to learn, but I think I'm intimidated. I don't know why. I don't know why. So I'm gonna do that this summer, and then I want to keep finishing things. I've got about 3 projects sitting here that are ready to be fully finished. So let the finishing begin. I want to get some things finished. I've got Annie's Market that's almost done. I'm gonna knock that out. So I think that's it. I do have 2 shout outs that I wanted to give. Lindy Stitches, if you have not seen her mom, she had her mom come on and do a whip parade. She got some fabulous stuff. Excellent stuff. So go check out her whip parade. I think she's got like 50 something whips. So Lindy Stitches, but it's her mom's whip parade. And they crack me up when they're together. And then the other person I wanted to send a shout out to was Fibers and Floss Canada. She has the most soothing voice. You all always compliment me on my voice. My husband calls it my NPR voice. But her voice, beautiful. She's got a melodic tone to her voice, very soothing, and her projects are magnificent. She's currently working on Beloved. And I forget the name of the designer, but it's the bird. And I'm going to get that pattern, and I'm going to join her on working on that. It's a beautiful pattern, and y'all know I'm into birds right now. Birds and bugs. That's a lot of what I'm doing. So I'm going to get that pattern because she's working on it, and it's beautiful. But she has magnificent projects. She's got a kind of a variety of projects that she does. But she's a great person to watch, especially if you've got time and you want to just sit and relax. She's a great person to watch for that. So please go check her out. Those are my 2 for today. And I just can't thank you all enough for your support. We're going to pick Layla up on the 8th. And she's only going to be home a week, y'all. She's going back. So she's going back to school. She's taking a summer class. The volleyball team gets a chance to take an extra class. They pay for it. So we like, girl, go on and do it. I think she's taking something hard, something that she can focus on. I think maybe a chemistry class or something, I'm not sure. But she'll be home in time for her birthday in June. And then she'll be home for the rest of the summer. So I'm only going to see her for a week, and then I'm going to fly her back because she's moving to a different dorm. She's putting her stuff in storage down there with a friend. She got it all worked out. And she has secured more scholarship money for next year. So we are blessed that we're getting that taken care of. So we're excited that we're going to see her in a couple of weeks, and that'll give me car stitching time. So I think that's it. I hope I haven't forgotten anything that I wanted to say. But my plan is to be back before Memorial Day. Probably right after we get back from picking her up. So I hope you all are enjoying spring. Hopefully it has sprung where you are. Please like and subscribe here. Follow me on Instagram at CoryCreates08. And as always, my Layla P Creations Etsy shop is available to you if you need some project bags. I really appreciate you all. Project bags are an investment. They are truly an investment. And I appreciate that so many of you are choosing to make that investment with me. So I just wanted to make sure I tell you how much I appreciate it. That's how I, that's how I do my little fun stuff. That money I make from that's, if we have an emergency or something, that's the money I use for that. So I appreciate you all supporting my endeavor on Etsy, and I'm glad so many of you enjoy the quality of my bags, because I really do try to make sure they are high quality, because they are an investment. And I need to make myself some. I haven't had a chance lately, but I've got about 5 over there sitting that are in the last stages. I kind of do an assembly line method. I'll do all of one step on a bunch of different bags, and I do all of the next step. So that's how I tend to do them. I never sit down and just make one bag at one time, unless it's like a gift or a special request. I always have them all set up in different stages. I just go through that whole step for multiple bags at a time. So that's kind of how I do it. So that'll be on my list today. I will get some stitching time in. Every Sunday we've been watching House of David. I think it's on Prime, but it's really well done. So I know we're going to do a couple of episodes tonight, so that'll be my stitching time tonight. But right now I'm getting ready to go start dinner. I got home from church and I haven't started dinner yet. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate you all. I hope you all are well, and I look forward to seeing you in May. Until then, as always, you all, be blessed.